The campaign has always been my favorite part of Dawn of War, putting its RTS action into the context of the wild, over-the-top, operatic drama of the far future. But when I got to go hands-on with the first bit of Dawn of War 4's grim story, it was a bit less opera and a bit more party rock, with the Orc faction leading the way.
What? This is how you smash things!
And as straightforwardly brutal as they are, there's an interesting twist this time with a bit of intra-faction rivalry between the biggest boys. There is a brief 2-mission tutorial when you first load up Dawn of War 4 featuring the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard, but in terms of the main meat of the campaign, each of the 4 factions has their own story with a specific spot in the larger unfolding narrative. And the Orcs come chronologically first, with their campaign setting the stage for everything that comes after it. And that just kind of works, really. If you want to kick things off with a bang and make a lot of messes other people are going to have to clean up later, I can think of no one better to serve as the opening act. As you may know, if you've seen the CGI trailer, the inciting action of the entire game is a Bloodraven's battle barge getting invaded by orcs under recurring Dawn of War big baddie Gorguts. This guy is hundreds of years old at this point and has been leading his boys across the stars in conflict after conflict. So when he decides to crash his rock down on Cronus to pursue the Astartes, he has every expectation of being in charge. That's not exactly how it plays out, though. In the first mission, the Beast Boss, we're introduced to a younger and scrappier leader, Guzkutta.
That's good. I want more killing stuff.
He's native to the planet Cronus, at least in as far as the orcs can be native to anywhere, considering they're technically an invasive species of fungus. Look, it's a long story, okay? We could be here all day talking about 40k lore.
You're gonna be a green tide.
But the point is, he's only ever known Cronus as home, and the band of orcs living here already view him as their leader. If Gorguts is the surprisingly clever old war dog, Guzkutta is kind of a rebellious teen coming into his own. Gorguts favors huge war machines and ridiculous firepower to get the job done, while Guzkutta relies on the beasts his boys can tame and ride into battle for a little bit more of a low-tech approach. Both war bosses will eventually get access to all of the same units, of course, and this initial bit is really just an introduction to Guzkutta and the Orcs' main faction mechanics.
Yes, I want a bigger base.
Since the tutorial focused on how to move units, attack, use abilities, and things like that, Orc Mission 1 can focus on what makes the Orcs unique, like their Wah mechanic, which you could learn a little bit more about in our faction deep dive. Your enemies for the early campaign are mainly the machine men of the Adeptus Mechanicus and their robot friends, occasionally supported by other Imperial auxiliaries, which forced me to focus quite a bit on mobility and flanking. See, these spindly Skitarii can't stand up to a proper orc in melee combat, but if they have the benefit of cover, their deadly ranged attacks can hold off a frontal assault for quite a while. Luckily, speedy Squighog riders can simply run right around their emplacements and hit them from behind. And if that isn't working out, Storm Boys, with their definitely not OSHA-approved jetpacks, can leap right over them.
Storm Boys, go!
This is also where the Beast Snagga boys come in handy, because they're a little bit tougher than your standard orc infantry, so they can draw fire for a decently long time without getting completely disintegrated. I wouldn't say it takes a mastermind to play this faction, as it shouldn't, but there is quite a bit to chew on tactically if you want to get the most out of them. Relentless aggression is rewarded in multiple ways, including growing the size of your squads with experience to become a proper horde. But combine that with a little cleverness, and now you're really dangerous. But if Mission 1 was all about letting you get to know Guzkutta and his little neighborhood, Mission 2, The Biggest Boss, is about how his life got turned upside down. Remember Gorguts demanding they crash faster in the trailer?
Crash faster!
Well, his ominous pile of scrap has finally touched down in a huge explosion, and Guzkutta's boys are eager to find out what happened. This is another fairly low-key introductory mission with the goal of making it to various piles of wreckage left by the rock's impact and finding clues. But the AdMech are also interested in what exactly happened, and I had to fight my way through them to get my answers. The mission culminates in the first meeting between the two bosses when you come across Gorgut's landing party, or at least the ones who survived the crash, under attack by the AdMech. If you hear Gorgut's version, of course, he would have been fine. But from Guzkutta's perspective, he totally saved the day. Regardless, the main tension of the campaign has now been established, as both big orcs believe they should be the boss on Cronus, and neither of them are about to back down. You will get to pick between them between missions eventually, which is where the whole campaign branches off. But for now, we spend a little more time with Guzkutta. He's the one I ended up picking anyway. I just like his style. And the next mission, Da Race, is a thematically appropriate contest to see who the better boss is by who can destroy the AdMech base fastest. This is one of my favorite missions in Dawn of War 4 so far, and one that really doesn't let you rest on the natural strengths of the orcs alone. While you're making your way up the left side of the map, Gorguts is clawing up the right. And that means it's not enough to simply overwhelm the Humies eventually, which has been easy enough to do up until now. You have to be efficient with your units alongside being relentless and get to the end before your rival does. This kind of scenario design is what I think separates a good RTS mission from a just okay one.
I smashed it! I is the best!
There's even a bit of strategic choice built in here, since you can send forces over to engage Gorguts and slow him down. Ultimately, I found that this delayed me making progress on my side too much, and it was better to just let him get bogged down with the AdMech, but it's certainly another way to do the mission if you need to buy yourself some extra time. Flanking him while he's already engaged is especially effective. Proving yourself here isn't enough though. Once the orc campaign branches, you'll get multiple choices of which mission to take on next, with each one tipping the balance of power towards Gorguts or Guzkutta. On one mission, you might be collecting scrap to assemble deadly death dreads. I particularly liked one involving the taming of a savage squigosaur, which becomes Guzkutta's mount and changes his playstyle for the rest of the campaign. I didn't get to see how this boss brawl ends, or how its outcome might shape the campaigns that come after it, but simply having multiple possible endings for the first of 4 campaigns is exciting. Especially because I've never liked Gorguts. It's about time he got knocked down a peg, you know? And Guzkutta's not exactly a knight in shining armor, but I can respect his disdain for authority and yeehaw philosophy on life and war. An orc after my own heart, if there ever was one. If you want to know even more about the orcs, check out the Faction 101 trailer, our hands-on deep dive with their units and mechanics, and our interviews with the creators of Dawn of War 4. And for everything else in the world of video games, keep it right here on IGN.
Ready for